Hi everyone, Stage Developer here. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are. So, the topic of this video is going to be about gamers versus success, or gaming versus success. The reason I'm making this video is because I've been for a while listening to different podcasts, talk shows, etc., where there is this negative correlation between gaming and success. Success, it could be success at your career, your job, physical fitness, relationship, etc. And so the first thing I would like to talk about is the first thing I would like to say is that I believe that most of these people have good intentions, and whatever I'm going to say is not meant to attack them or say that they are toxic or anything like that. No, I think that they have some good intentions, but maybe um, I'm going to talk about some flaws that are maybe not so apparent in their arguments. So, the next point I would like to talk about here is basically what's wrong with this message, the negative correlation between gaming and success. So here there is an oversimplification and a misdiagnosis of an illness or a problem. So first of all, I will recognize that what they are trying to talk about is basically stuff such as laziness, self-defeat, self, how to call it, like the person who's a defeatist or a person who doesn't believe that they could achieve or you know do things in life and be successful. But here it's like when we attack gaming, the problem I have here is that they are aiming at a symptom instead of the problem, the root cause of the problem. So, for example, they are always looking at the image of this guy who's doing nothing, spending many hours just playing video games and doesn't want, maybe he's not very active in the society. But here it's an oversimplification, because when they say gaming is bad and they took a wide spectrum of people and put them in a single bag and say all gamers are ABC XYZ, this is where I think there is a room for improvement in communication and the message that they are trying to put forward. Now, for me as a gamer, I've been at a different period of times a gamer, and I'm still a gamer to some extent. But gaming for me at different timelines meant different things. There was a time when gaming was for me an escape. There was a time for me when gaming was entertainment, and there was a time for me when gaming was an art. But it's like it's very easy for people who don't understand gaming or non-gamers to look at it as this bad habit or this maybe not so good habit, because they're looking at someone who is staring at a screen for several hours. And by the way, for those of you who are sitting behind the screen for extended period of times, um, try not to stare at the screen continuously all the time. Try to move your eyes away every few minutes, or at least every 15, 20 minutes. Try to move your eyes away and try to look away from the screen in order not to strain your eyes. This is something I read, I think, somewhere. And by the way, I'm not a doctor, so please don't take this as a medical advice. But yeah, just for those of you who stay behind screens for a long period of time, uh, try not to stare at the screen for a very period of time. So to get back to our topic, so the non-gamer is looking at the gamer as this person who's sitting behind the screen for extended period of time, and for them this lack of interaction to them is concerning. They get concerned because they're seeing someone who's sitting behind the screen playing the video games for many many hours and doesn't interact or doesn't really um, let's say engage in proactive communication. Now again, it's an oversimplification, and I don't blame non-gamers if this is how they think gamers are. They think gamers are lazy people or people who are uninterested in being a member of the society. If this is if this is an opinion, if this is their opinion or your opinion, I respect it, but I will have to disagree slightly on that topic. So the next point I would like to say is how, like, you cannot again generalize and say that everyone who does this means that they are like this. The answer, it depends. So let's go to the person who is like different people will be gaming for different reasons. And maybe if you want to think about it in a different way. So let's say, yeah, let's take the worst case scenario, the gamer who is maybe a broken person, a person who's internally broken and they are unable to heal and recover themselves. So they are just playing games, trying to escape from the harsh reality that they are living in. If they didn't have gaming, if video games was not an escape, then what would be their next escape? Maybe it could have been something way worse than gaming. What if it was excessive alcoholism, excessive smoking, etc. So for certain type of people, or for people who are experiencing certain let's say they are living certain situation or circumstances, uh, their escape, everyone's escape is different. This is if we are talking about the worst case scenario where gaming is the escape from let's say a harsh reality or negative circumstances that the person is experiencing, or pain, let's say some kind of pain. So we can't really say that everyone who's gaming is ABC or XYZ. This is just like if gaming is a problem, we cannot call gaming an addiction. It's rather a symptom of a larger issue. We are looking only at the tip of the iceberg. Now, another thing that I'd like to mention is um, even if we get rid of gaming, let's get rid of gaming. Uh, let's say there's a new rule: gaming is illegal. You can't play video games anymore, which I know is absurd. But let's say this is a hypothetical situation. Again, the person who would have spent many hours playing video games would have spent many hours doing something maybe that is equally might be like um, equally, let's say, time killer, or maybe even worse. Now, let's talk about the different types of gamers. So, I spoke now a little bit about the worst case scenario. Now, let's speak about different types of gamers. So, there is a gamer who's just a person who would like to spend a certain period of time. Maybe it's not this 10 hours or 16 hours, but someone who just wants to spend some time um, to kind of clear their mind. Now, again, each gamer is different, and each gamer's reason for playing games is different from one another. And this is especially true for people who have a stressful life. So some people just come back from work, play a video game for, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and that's it. They say they're fine. Like say, okay, I'm fine now. Let's get on with life. So this is like one aspect. And it's maybe I would say, okay, maybe it would have been more useful if the person put a darts board instead of video gaming. At least he is like training his arm, his as a way for him to keep moving and burn more calories. So this is like, okay, this is an argument that is acceptable if we say that there is a more productive way to spend those 20-30 minutes. Now there is the third type of gamer, um, who is who's like for to whom gaming is, um, let's say, their life, their income is literally coming from gaming. And I'm talking here about like maybe for example some YouTubers who earn money from gaming, Twitch streamers, etc. People who just earn money from gaming. It's their bread. So now whether or not they are promoting gaming and they are trying to push gaming as a value, this is would be something a little bit arguable, because you can't say that all because different people will take a habit and use it or perceive it different from each other. There is no guarantee that you will teach me something and I won't abuse it. So, you know, it's it depends. It depends. By the end of the day, it really depends. And then comes like this next question, which is, so let's say that okay, we quit gaming, and you know, um but what's the point, if the person quit gaming but we didn't solve the problem? How can we solve the problem? Whatever the problem is, maybe the person lacking motivation, purpose, etc. It all boils down to the person, really. So again, gaming is just a symptom. You can't blame a symptom. You have to address the problem. So if you believe a person is spending too much time on something, maybe there is an underlying issue. It could be mental, psychological, or even health related, but they themselves are unaware of it. Or it could be just that they are enjoying the game and they don't know any better. They don't know what else they could do that would be meaningful for them, aside from gaming. Now, this is boils down like some people would enjoy doing something else. Some of them won't. the worst thing that could ever be done if you force someone to like something, you are stripping away their character. You are not allowing them, not giving them the time and space to develop their own character and develop themselves. Um, and for me, this is really something which I find extremely annoying when someone is trying to force you to change something because they have a belief that their way is better than yours and that your way is wrong or you lack the understanding. This should never be the way, and I think that we need to be open-minded. We need to allow the person to realize themselves and to discover themselves. If they would like to do a new habit, you can't force someone to do something else and enjoy it and love it. It doesn't work this way. Passion is something that a person develops over a certain period of time through self-discovery, exploration, etc. Now, are gaming companies developing games to make them addictive and make people spend endless hours grinding at the games? Yes, there is. And this is something I'm fully against. I think that game developers need to stop this. It's really like grinding people on a game for endless hours to achieve some nice color for their gun or whatever. For me, this is nonsense. This is bullshit. Seriously, like game developers need to stop doing this because it's like eventually gamers are not stupid. Okay, gamers are not dumb. So for those of you, if you are not a gamer, one thing I would like you to know is if you go to game reviews or channels that review video games, you will see that gamers are not dumb. Like gamers know if a game is a quality game or if the game is meant to waste your time. Gamers know that. So this is just one point that I wanted to mention, aside from, the fact that I'm against game developers making games like deliberately addictive and time wasting or potentially also let's say resource hungry, where they make you pay endless amounts of money and keep making money out of you over things that don't provide any value. And actually, one funny point I wanted to mention here is that I believe that the games were actually cheaper in the past than they are now, because in the past you had a price tag on this cassette or CD or DVD, and that's it. You knew that this is the game. You won't pay any more money for that game, and that's it. But today, this is no longer the case because now you have the DLCs, the internet, and they keep expanding the game, and they will find excuses to keep milking us out of our money directly and indirectly. Hell, like there are even some games that like release DLCs and they charged as much for the game as much as their DLCs costed. So it was like as if you are paying for two different games, but they masked it with this DLC in order to keep you engaged, to keep you chasing and running after it. So yeah, I think that gamers need to be aware. Just because the game brand is something, or the game is something familiar and you like the game, don't forget that not all the games are quality games. Quality games are games that fun, enjoyable, have art, a story, or let's say something that has like a passion, a meaning, that something that you could actually maybe to some extent benefit from. And believe me, like fiction and reading stories, it's a fun experience. It's a good thing that you have the curiosity to explore and do things in the game that you might not be able to do in real life. Or at least it's like a way, instead of like let's say it's an alternative fiction. So you have the people who could be reading a novel, but you have the novel as a game. So essentially, if the game developers took a novel, turned it into a game, you will know the novel as good as a person who actually spent time reading the novel page by page, or even better, because you also have an image of how it looks like from the imagination, or as close as possible to the imagination of the writer. This of course depends on whether or not the game developers and the writer are actually working together. So this is one, like another point I wanted to mention. Um, the problem is that here is like, for you as a gamer, or for any gamer, it could become your escape. It could become something that you enjoy, and it could also become something that you abuse. So it could become also an opportunity for socializing with others. There's nothing wrong with socializing with people over the internet. But again, it depends on the person. So um, I really felt that I really wanted to speak about this for a long period of time, because I'm really tired of hearing people blaming uh, the symptom instead of focusing on the problem. Like they are trying to diagnose a problem, but they are always talking about a symptom. And this is something like this is something that I always hear people say, and I'm going to say it here again, that like it's like you could have a factor, but it's not a cause. So it doesn't mean causation if it's just a trend, some pattern that you're noticing. Doesn't mean that it's the reason. Instead, we need to focus rather on what's the reason that this person is like, how can we tell this person, engage like in a conversation with this person, and basically, let's say if they simply lack the purpose, maybe instead of telling them um, stuff like, hey loser, stop playing games and stuff like that, maybe we should instead give them a purpose, show them a purpose, show them that the world is much bigger than a video game. So giving someone a purpose, I think, is much more useful, because even if you told the person, okay, you you managed to convince a gamer to stop gaming, guess what? It's only a matter of time before they have a depression, or even things that are much worse than depression, because you are not attacking the core problem. You are attacking a symptom of a much bigger issue. So this is something that we need to keep in mind when we talk about, we need to be empathetic when we talk to gamers about, if you are not a gamer, you need to be very empathetic towards others if they are gamers. And I think in generally speaking, not just about gamers, but it's better, generally speaking, not to stereotype or generalize an entire chunk of society based on some belief or some rumors or system when you don't have any empirical evidence of that proves your point. So really the answer here, it always depends on the person, depends on like why do they engage in a certain behavior, but saying that all gamers are losers and that success is tied to how much time you spend on video games, yeah, like there is a bit of association, because unless like gaming is your business, unless you are a gamer who's streaming and twitching and all of this, and you're receiving making money from this, and it's a huge success for you, that's a different story. But generally speaking, like its success depends on you, depends on the person. It depends on, like, do they have the motivation? For me, for example, as a gamer who has known games for many, many, many years, I automatically grew out of the habit, not because I believe that gaming is bad, but rather because I have higher priorities that I put in front of me in order to achieve success. But that doesn't mean that I don't game anymore. I still do game, but the purpose of the gaming has changed. So when I was a kid, I was having sometimes I had some difficult periods in my life. Gaming was the escape. Then after that, gaming was a way for me to kind of clear my mind, and then finally at this stage, gaming became for me just a casual thing, a very short thing that does not really like disconnect me from real life and interacting with real people. And in terms of success, fitness, etc., again, it doesn't really, if you're a gamer, it doesn't mean that you're going to be ignoring your health, or you're going to be spending money irresponsibly. But okay, there is a small note here aside. If you are a gamer and you are pre-ordering a game that you don't even know how good it is, especially in today's market, you are wasting money. So just something to keep in mind here. What was it said? Uh, yeah. So I do take care of my health. Actually, I exercise regularly. People say that I look really good in real life, and I don't have any problems. I'm more or less in a really good position, and I'm also a developer. I make apps, and if you're interested, you can check the description or the about page of my channel, and you can see that more or less I'm doing actually pretty well as a gamer. And it's pretty simple, why are you gaming? That's a question. If you are spending too many hours, maybe it's not because you are addicted. This doesn't mean that you are a loser. Maybe there is a reason why you prefer to spend 10 hours on gaming versus spending 10 hours making more money. Or maybe you could be spending those 10 hours doing maybe working towards something, you know, that you believe is going to like dramatically improve your life. So I hope that you found this video you know, very insightful. Now I don't expect you to agree with me. Again, this is just my opinion, but I really appreciate it that you listened to me till the very end of this video. And yeah, again, if you are not a subscriber, if you like this content, like and subscribe, and check out my apps. I'm a developer. My name is Strange Developer. So you can check out my apps in the description of the video. And yeah, wish you have a good rest of your day, or good night in case it's night time at your place, and take care.